Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pike Homestead. So in this edition we've got Problematic Cleanup Edition down in the basement. So just to give you a basic rundown of what happened is, we've had, like I've said in other videos, we've had a lot of rain this spring and summer. We're finally getting regular dry weather now, but all through June and everything we're getting mostly rain almost every day. And that resulted in high water levels, high groundwater levels, and the pump in our sump failed to trigger. It just got caught and didn't turn on. So I came down one day and the basement was flooded. My first thought was, that actually our drain system had backed up, which has happened before because the plugs for the pumps in the septic system are all outside the house, and the dogs would keep knocking them out of the plugs as they were running around up there. I'd blocked that off so that wouldn't happen anymore, but that's what we've seen. But this wasn't that. It was water everywhere. And when I went into our storage room over here, I saw, the wooden cover for the sump was floating underwater and the pump wasn't pumping. And as soon as I, fixed that and got it running, it cleared a bunch of the water out. But the floor all on this side of the house and, most everywhere down here was wet, and we got a lot of wet. Our storage room here has just been kind of a dumping area for our for all the stuff that we're not using. Like it's a storage room, but we haven't really sorted it at all or anything, so it's still a bunch of stuff in moving boxes, even though we've already been here for almost a year now. So a bunch of the cardboard boxes are kind of destroyed, and drywall is wet and everything like that. So we're starting to see mold pop up. So we gotta clean that up, assess the damage, make sure it's not right through the walls and in the insulation and everything like that. So I gotta start pulling stuff out and start getting this cleaned up, and make sure the house stays clean and safe. And so it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of stuff that we weren't intending on having to do. It's very disheartening. So we're at a busy time of the year right now with stuff on the farm, and all of that's gone to a halt because I've got to be here doing this while Caroline's working. And yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna get going with tidying things up and getting keep going on with the dehumidifiers and everything, trying to dry out the area and just keep rolling with that. So that's pretty much the majority of the stuff on the top layer that didn't get wet. Everything else is either plastic totes, which weren't damaged by the watering. I can just pile them in the center of the room as we do the work around the edges, or cardboard boxes that have been destroyed and we have to empty out manually. So that's where we're at now. So I've got a carload to take out to the shop, and we're just going to dump it there for now. And come back and then start working on picking out the stuff in the damaged boxes and getting rid of the stuff that's toast and reboxing the stuff that isn't. So we'll keep working along here. So here's a look at the room empty, and you can see the mold on the wall. The damp and wet there is just from where I've sprayed it with a mold killer, just to stop it from spreading while I get the floor dried out. So I've got the heater going here to help take up any rest of the water in here. But really, this is the wettest room still. Everything else is, where it's damp is drying pretty quickly. So anyway, so I've got the mold killer sprayed on there just to stop it from getting any worse. And then, from about there across, I'll just cut that drywall right out and remove it. Because once the mold's in it, it's pretty much there. And so we'll go from there. So yeah, I'll let the floor dry up overnight here, and tomorrow we'll get cutting. Hey, so it's the next day now, and I'm gonna get started on cutting out the drywall here with the mold on it. Got my mask and everything, so I'm set up to deal with that. It's looking a lot better. The spray definitely had an effect in drying everything out, so it's not as extensive, but yeah, there is still some black mold and stuff there. So even if it's been, killed by the mold clean spray that I've got, we need to get it out. So I'm gonna get working on that, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so that's all the moldy drywall pulled out. It doesn't look like it's really spread other than surface areas anywhere else. Where it was behind the drywall, there is a moisture barrier there. There is a sheet of plastic immediately behind the drywall before it's in the insulation. So none of it has gotten into the insulation. So I've sprayed all that down. So I'll let that, dry. You spray it on, leave it overnight, wipe it off, and give another spray. And it kills all the mold and everything, and also prevents it in the future. So, once that's all dried up and everything, we'll look at fixing the drywall. But that will, I'll probably leave it about a week or so, make sure it's completely dry, make sure nothing else is coming back. So I think we'll sign off on this for now, and we'll follow up later at another time once it's all fixed up and you can see the progress. Anyway, yeah, so it's really important if you ever have a flood or anything like that to keep an eye out for mold. Black mold especially, like some of what we were seeing on the wall there, can be very poisonous and hazardous to your health. So yeah, you definitely want to get rid of it as soon as you can and stop the spread. Yeah, so I've got a few ideas on what I can do to make this better next time, because the water, did get under the level of the plastic there into the wood underneath. So I want to make sure that's completely dried up and see what I can do to seal that to the floor before I put the drywall back up. So might be just a matter of running a bead of caulking along it or something that would do the job, so that if this happens again, it won't be an issue. So while I was working, I did discover that part of the problem we're having with our pump in the sump down here that caused the issue to begin with is once the water starts coming up, the pump doesn't stay put. So I got to figure out a way to weigh that down. It floats and shifts around in the water until it kicks on, and that's what's causing it to bump up against the sides of the pipe there and stop the float from working. So it had turned on and was stuck running this morning because it had pumped out all the water, but it had shifted to where the float wouldn't fall back down and disengage the pump. So that's going to burn out the pump too. So we've got to, I got to figure out a way to get that to stay put. Anyway, thanks for spending your time with me today. Hopefully, if you learned a little bit about the dangers of, floods and mold and everything like that, that's a good thing. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had to deal with this before and any suggestions you might have. And I look forward to hearing from you. All right, so thanks for spending your time with us today, and we'll see you next time.